I had one friend suggest online dating. Here's the thing about online dating sites. Online dating sites are like the island for the toys that were rejected by the island of misfit toys. This whole ocean of sad islands out there. They're all standing there and just like, is there anyone out there? Except for you, is there anyone else out there? These people are picky. I remember one night I was cruising through some profiles, I was trying to find a cute girl to talk to, and I found one, her name was Brittany. But I knew right off the bat, figured out that I wasn't going to talk to Brittany, because I read Brittany's bio and it said, I have high standards. So if you don't meet my requirements, don't waste my time. And there was like a list of 10 things I had to meet just to say hi to her. I think I was like on thing number 4 when I was like, if you're online dating, like you lost the right to have that high standard. Like really, your standards should be 3 things: working, breathing, and not sleeping in the same bed as his parents. Like, that's what you get now. I knew that. I knew I had to change my standards. That's why when I was online dating, I had 2 standards, which was breathing and always been a woman. And I was always willing to compromise on one of those. Because compromise is important in a functional relationship. But online dating got weird after a while. Like people did weird stuff. I remember I was talking to a friend of mine who was seeing this guy who had an internet girlfriend, or an internet boyfriend, excuse me. She was like, oh, look at these photos of them. And I was like, oh, look at these photos, like good headshots and stuff. And there it was, like photo number 4, just him standing butt naked down this hallway. And I saw that photo, and my first thought was, who took the picture? Like, I know who sent it because he's in the photo. But like, who took the photo? Like, in my head, that he just like climbed out of the shower, kind of glimpsed himself in the mirror, and was just like, Mom! Get the camera! Who's that? He lives at home. I tried Tinder for a while. You got anyone here that tried Tinder? Would have guessed. Not surprised. Did you guys meet on Tinder? Oh, good.
We met in a different island.
Oh, but still online, you guys got. Okay. But it's still a nightmare, though, right? Like, I'm being honest.
Yes.
But you guys found each other. And that's beautiful. That's great. That's great. But that's great. I met someone from Tinder. I'll tell you guys my one person from Tinder story. I had been talking to this girl for a couple months, and I was super interested in her. So naturally, I stalked her. Right? I found all this information. I found like a phone number and an address. I found Facebook with all these photos. I found out her real name, just like everything you could possibly find out. And then came the night when she wanted to meet in real life. She was like, yeah, come over and watch a movie, it'll be fun. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll be over in like 10 minutes. I'm driving to our house having this little small panic attack. Because I'm trying to remember all the things I'm not supposed to know yet. And this text came in and she was like, oh, and here's my address. And I was like, oh, God, I totally needed that. I don't know where you live. But I'd already pulled up to her house. So I can't just leave. I had to sit there and give her like fake updates for 9 minutes. She's like, yeah, almost there. Don't look outside. Don't look outside. Then I got married. Not the Tinder girl, that didn't work out. I married someone completely different. I married a beautiful woman that loves to wear plaid and played softball in college. And so the theme of our wedding was, surprise, we're not gay. I know you thought, but we weren't. Got married, and I learned right off the bat as soon as we got married these huge differences between single life Josh and married life Josh. Like I didn't realize how much I farted as a single person. Yeah. Get that guy's number. No, I didn't. I didn't realize until I like never farted as a married person. It was a lot and all of the time is what I'm getting at. But now we're like almost 3 years in, now things are like way different. Now I fart all the time. I fart everywhere in my house. Not too long ago, I farted so loud in bed that my head started to hurt. Because my wife hit me in the head. It was so loud. We have a kid now, too.
All right.
Yeah, a kid. Thank you. Little 18-month-old ball of everything. She is so adorable. And I'm petrified about being a dad still to this day. I mean, I was terrified about being a dad before she came because I'm just like an okay uncle. Having the best. I got tasked with like watching my nephews one time. I had to take them to the park. There's 4 of them. And Cooper, the youngest one, he's like this tall. My sister put him in a baby blue hoodie that said ladies man. And I was like, weird choice, let's go. And we went to the park. And I flipped his hood up so it wouldn't freeze his little ears off, and I just watched him run around with all the kids having a blast, right? And then Cooper tripped on a piece of bark, landed face first right in the asphalt, right in front of me. I got nervous because he cries really easily, so I ran up as fast as I could, and I scooped him up in my arms, and I spun him around, and I went in the face of someone else's kid. And she was scared. I was terrified. I didn't know what to do because I'm just like now standing in this park staring at this poor little Asian girl. In a panic, I tucked her in my arm and I ran. And then there's always a funny story after the fact. Not as a report to the police. But now I'm actually a dad. Now I'm actually a dad and now I have all these different fears. Right, these legitimate fears. I'll tell you one of my biggest fears right now is that in the middle of the night, while she's sleeping, my baby is just gonna stop breathing. Right, and that scares me. This anxiety causes me to wake up in the middle of the night. And I find myself creeping across the house to her nursery, and I'll just lay down on the floor just to hear her breathing. And every now and then I'll just like peek over the edge of the crib just to make sure the blankets are going up and down. The other night I realized that this is like the birth of the monster under the bed for her. Super anxious daddy, he's like, just checking. But I told my dad how much anxiety this caused in my life, how much stress he gave me, and I asked him, I said, Dad, is there a point in time when my daughter's going to grow up to be a certain age? I'm just not going to worry about her anymore. And he was like, Josh, you're 37 and you're our youngest child, and I worry about all of my children. And you can tell that didn't help, like at all. So I just like leaned over and kissed me on my forehead and took me to bed. Laying on the floor next to me. My wife thought it was weird, and I should go sleep like so. Having a kid makes you talk different too. Talk differently to my wife. Not too long ago, we had a heated argument about how many wipes I use on a poopy diaper. Never had to justify anything like that. But she was like, how many wipes do you use, Josh? And I was like, enough. She was like, what does that mean? And I was like, that means that I know I used the last one. If I wipe and it's clean enough, I can just put it right back into the routine. She stopped me and she was like, Josh, you can't reuse the wipes. And I was like, I know. Now, from now on, that I'm not allowed. Because it's not like toilet paper. Hold on. So, here's the interesting thing I've read about toilet paper. It's not actually toilet paper, it's their commercials. And here's the thing I find interesting about toilet paper commercials. They always want to sell me on the durability of the product by cleaning up water. I've never cooked water before. They want to show me how durable the product is, but they should clean up his bean dip. From the seam of an open book. So I'm not worried about the pipes anymore. I mean, you guys on this one. Have you guys ever been down a YouTube rabbit hole? Oh yeah. What's the weirdest rabbit hole anyone's had?
Nipple popping.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Horror videos. Gross. My wife watches those all night. And then I wake up in the middle of the night and she's like got this little tool that she's stabbing me in the face with. Yeah, you do this? this? That's gross. Oh. Sleep in a different room, man. It scares me every morning when she's stabbing me in the face. YouTube rabbit holes are weird though, right? Like you just get caught for hours watching these weird things. Like you're just concerned about the weather or the news, and you wake up the next morning like thinking the earth is flat and birds might not be real. I got stuck down this YouTube rabbit hole about bear safety. Right? And this one dude was like super informative. He was like, if you run into a bear in the woods, it's important to know what kind of bear you run into to know how to defend yourself. And he said, for instance, if you run into a brown bear in the woods, make yourself look big. And I was like, make myself look big. Apparently I've been overeating my entire life just to make myself bear-proof. Because it felt good. But then he went on to continue, and he's like, no, what I mean is like you're supposed to stick your arms out and poke out your chest, try to make yourself look as big as possible. And I thought, did they teach bears this when they were growing up? Like when the cubs are like super nervous to venture out in the woods alone, and they're just like, well, what if I run into a Polynesian in the woods? You know, Barry's like, well, it's rare. And if you run into a Polynesian in the woods, you're supposed to make yourself look big. Apparently what he told them is I ran into a bear in the woods, we were both just like, ugh. And I just sort of like went around and... Then he talks about this other bear. He's like, if you run into a black bear in the woods, and this is the big one, if you run into a black bear in the woods, don't play dead. I said, don't play dead. It's obvious specific thing. Because there are a lot of people that believe this weird myth about black bears, and they have this natural fear of being framed for murder. People honestly believe that when a black bear walks up on a body that's already dead, that he's like, hey, buddy, what are you? Oh, no. He tries to wipe his paw prints off every day. Gets really frustrated, and he's like, this would never happen to a polar bear. Just all that damn polar privilege. This guy got a point, right? A little bit. Because if I was watching the news and I saw a news report about a man who was mauled and killed by a polar bear, I'd be like, well, what's that guy doing where polar bears are? If I was watching the news and I saw a report about a man who was mauled and killed by a black bear, I'd be like, oh man, this neighborhood's going downhill. I'm Fonokalafi, that is my time.